officially welcome. Thank you for being here. Something that I've been trying to work on in my own practice lately is dissolving tension as I move. And that can be physical tension, right? Our yoga practice actually helps us relieve our physical bodies of tightness, but also mental, emotional tension. And so I invite you to just open to that possibility as we move, that you can literally be breaking down physical, emotional, mental, energetic tension. And that goes, it sort of goes without saying. So if anything isn't feeling good, that's going to build tension, right? So find your route through these movements so that everything can become more fluid, more supportive, and more enjoyable in the body, so we can leave feeling really restored and loved and supported. So with that, I see that everyone set their mats up perfectly. Way to go. Great job. Take a quarter turn to the left and recline. And just to test it out, extend your right arm, and your right arm should be reaching towards the screen. Our sequences can be very interesting to follow. So if we start on the same page, it'll be a little bit easier to stay on the same path. And I'm just noticing, and it could be sometimes our cameras are on mirroring, but just do one extra check to make sure the side of the body that's closest to the screen is the right side. Okay, good. It was worth the extra check. And you get a little extra core bonus from doing that awesome sit-up. So from here, take a moment to start to relax into stillness. And as the body becomes more still, you might notice that you need more space. So feel free to adjust at any time, separating the feet, sliding the shoulder blades around, whatever allows this position to be as comfortable as possible as we bring more and more awareness to the body, inside and out. And feel the support of the earth beneath you, the temperature of the air around you. And then just start to notice your body existing in space. This will get easier throughout class, so it's okay if that doesn't even mean anything yet. We're just pointing ourselves in that direction. Start to notice the breath. Resist the temptation to change it, to direct it, to alter it. Let it just be. Imagine yourself just an observer of the body, of the breath, of the space you're in. Without any strain, play with slowing down the breath by relaxing more. And for those of you that just joined, aloha and welcome. We're just getting centered, and as you lay down, just make sure the right side of your body is facing towards the screen. We'll just observe a few more breaths like this, letting them be slow and relaxed. Maybe even noticing the pause, the space between each inhale and exhale. And if it feels natural as you notice those spaces, let yourself really sink into the space after the exhale, that empty point. And let the inhale just naturally come to you. we'll start to invite gentle movements into the body. See if you can maintain this sense of whole body awareness as you begin to move. If you're following along with the playlist, feel free to hit play on the first track and just make sure it's set to loop. And ever so gently begin to circle the toes. And we'll do this for a little while, and the feet can get quite tired, so try to find as much ease as possible with these movements, so you're not trying to max out your range of motion, just inviting something to feel. And as the toes circle, notice the sensations in the ankle, the top of the foot, the gentle changing relationship between the foot and the shin. And you might even start to notice these sensations traveling up the leg, beginning to affect the rotation of the thigh bone ever so gently, creating more space in the hip socket. Go the opposite direction. And then as you come around the next time, point the feet away from you and just notice the whole top side of the body lengthening. You can even push down into the heels a little bit as if you were going to lift into a back bend, but don't actually do that. Just feel a sense of opening and spaciousness. And then gently circle the arms overhead, allowing the shoulder blades to glide wide on the back. Stretch fingers and toes apart. Notice any sense of the shoulders perhaps shrugging up towards the ears. And on the next round, we'll see if we can try to keep the shoulders more anchored on the rib cage. So circle the arms down. Take another snow angel. Imagine you're trying to reach your rib cage away from your feet. So the hands anchor into the rib cage. You don't even have any shoulders right now. Do that a couple times, letting the backs of the hands drag as you slide back down so the arms are really relaxed. Right? Most of you probably had arms lifted. I know I did. Always want to do a little bit more. Let's see if we can do a little bit less. And the next time the arms reach overhead, pause for a moment. Again, just feel the spaciousness across the front of the body. And then slowly begin to flex every joint in the body, which means things just curl in on each other. The hands ball up, knees and elbows come together. You gently curl up. And then bring forearms to shins. Can rest the head back down and just slide the arms as far up the legs as is comfortable. We're going to call this a leg slide because we'll do it over and over again. And take a couple of these leg slides. It's okay for the head to lift or keep the head down, but just notice any sense of support turning on in the core as you glide the hands up the legs. The next time the arms glide up, keep all of that support at your center and slowly extend hands and feet apart back into that long stretch. Lift the left leg, glide it over the right leg, and then we're going to move at the slowest motion possible. As the right foot touches down towards the screen, slowly let it pull you onto your right side. And this feels really good, hopefully. And so milk it, enjoy it. Enjoy every tiny sensation across the right side of the body as you venture off your mat onto your belly. And notice how the momentum almost naturally carries you towards the left. Tent your fingertips overhead and start to push into all the fingers on the right hand to exaggerate that roll to the left. And then same thing, pushing into the left hand, rolling to the right. And we'll do this a few times and try to be, again, really gentle because we repeat all these movements so many times. This first round is really just about waking up these pathways and feeling more and under-exerting. Try to under-exert. You may notice the connection, fingertips running up both sides of the arm into the chest and the back at the same time, keeping the shoulder really nice and supported. And then come to center, press evenly into all 10 fingers and notice any sense of support or buoyancy in the shoulders as you do that. Circle the hands behind you. Reach towards the heels, kind of like those leg glides. Slide the hands down the legs, peeling one vertebra away from the floor at a time into a flying cobra. You don't have to come up very high this first round. And then staying lifted with the strength of your back, bend the elbows, point your fingertips forward, and tent your fingertips just in front of the shoulders, but nice and wide. And push into one hand at a time, just like we did before, to glide from left to right. And just notice the sensation in the shoulders, in the neck. Make sure there's no tension in the neck. If there is, try sliding the hands back a little bit and peeking the head forward as if you were a turtle reaching its head out of its shell. And then slide the hands back even further. Push down into the hands to slowly lift the body into a long table. And then glide the hands underneath the shoulders so you feel a little bit more supported. And play with lifting opposite hand and knee. And if it's uncomfortable to have your knees on this ground, it is okay to just scooch right back onto your mat. That's totally up to you. Try to move nice and slow so you can feel the diagonal of the hand connecting all the way to that opposite foot. And then we'll practice using opposite hand and leg to walk onto the mat. So the left hand slides over and the right foot, right knee slides wide, and then right hand and left foot. It's really good brain exercise. You can go a little beyond the mat and then go back the other way just to get that challenging connection starting to become more familiar. Hopefully it'll get easier each time we repeat this sequence. Next time you're on your mat, pause there. Walk the hands forward of the shoulders. Bring a little extra weight onto the outside of the hands. Bend the elbows a little bit. Make sure the neck is tension-free. And then hover the knees. Push into the hands to extend hips nice and high. Gently extend the legs any amount that feels comfortable and useful, while still keeping the hips nice and buoyant. Gently sway hips from side to side and notice how the hip swing naturally shifts the weight in the hands and the feet as all of the limbs anchor in to your center together. And then come to center. Gently bend the knees towards the mat, enjoying the pathway down so you feel support all the way, and keep that support even as the knees touch down. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders and start to explore the hands a little bit. So you can walk them from side to side. You can change the angle of the fingers. Just move slow and think of this as an a way of tuning in to the needs of your wrist, the needs of the shoulders. We are doing a little bit extra in the hands and shoulders today, so I'm going to remind you to do less, right? Be softer, be kinder, so that when we come back to this again, you're excited and you're not like, oh, my wrists are so sore. And then gently walk the hands in towards the knees, push down into knees, tuck the toes underneath if they're not already, and let the spine roll up one vertebra at a time. Head and neck come up last. Take a moment, allowing the head to balance over shoulders, over hips, over knees. And then shift the weight into the left knee. If you've got sensitive knees, feel free to fold your mat over because we will be on this knee for a little while. And then reach the arms out to T to help you with balance and really extend through the fingertips. Hover the right leg and start to play with shifting the direction of the right thigh bone. If it's really tricky for you to balance here, you can practice just simply balancing. And then when you've got the hang of that, then you can shift the weight a little bit more. This is really great for your left hip socket. Just getting all those muscles activating really evenly from every direction. And then step the right foot forward and nice and wide. Allow the arms to relax for a moment and then just softly bend into the right knee. And it's okay for the knee to come past the ankle as long as there's no discomfort as you do that. So spring into the knee a couple of times. Kick into the foot to send the weight back and then bend the knee again. And just take a couple of those pulses, trying to feel the connection between the knee reaching forward and then the kicking of the foot to send the weight back. We'll add in the arms. So the next time the knee bends, reach the arms back as if you were taking flight, and then kick into the foot to come back up. Bend knee, take flight, and just take a couple of those, finding as much ease and glide as possible. The next time you bend into the knee, pause there for a moment. Notice what's supporting you in the left hip, in the abdominals, in the shoulders. And then release the hands down inside of the front foot. Untuck the mat if you've done that. And just take some nice, easy hula hoops with the pelvis. Avoid a sense of trying to stretch. And instead just allow the thighs and the hip sockets to glide. Go the other direction. And then walk the left hand over nice and wide. Push into right foot and left hand and slowly glide the left knee forward into that space. Set the left hip down, extend the left leg, and then extend the right leg so you're seated. And just pause for a moment at seated. If this feels hard, tent the hands behind you and lean back. If it feels accessible, you can just sit straight up. Notice the bottom of the pelvis, the sits bones anchoring into the floor, helping support the spine. And then bend the knees, gently release forward over the legs. And then kick into the heels. Notice how that extends the legs and starts to propel the spine upward, and allow one vertebra at a time to release onto your yoga mat. Here we are back at the beginning, but pointed the opposite direction, hopefully. And just take a moment to sink into that stillness. Imagine any tension dissolving in the body, dissolving in the mind as more and more focus comes to the present moment, to supporting you more. And we'll repeat that exact same sequence on the second side. So just find a sense of ease across the forehead, of knowing where you're going and bringing more balance to the body. We'll start with those gentle foot circles, allowing the whole leg to rotate with ease. In the hip socket, go the opposite direction. The next time the toes point away from you, push down into the heels, letting the front side of the body open gently. And then circle the arms overhead to uproot the rib cage. Imagine, again, you have no shoulders. And then full body flexion, elbows to knees, everything curls up gently. And then take 3 of your leg glides, gliding hands up and then back down. It's okay to let the hips lift. That will help engage the low abdominals in a really natural way. And the next time everything lifts, slowly reach hands overhead, reach feet back to where they came from. Keep the right leg lifted, cross it over the left. Slow motion side body roll. Allow that right foot pointing away from you to drag you over to your belly. Tent your fingertips when you arrive, but no rushing. And then ride that momentum to the right. Push into the left hand to exaggerate it a little bit. And then push into the right. Repeat this a couple of times. Move extra slow so you can really feel that pathway from fingertips up the arms into the chest and the back. And notice how that shifts the whole torso. You might even feel it connecting into the side of the core. And then push evenly into both hands. We just watched Wonder Woman, so you can feel like a really chill Wonder Woman for a moment flying through the air here. And then circle the arms behind you, gently peel up into your flying cobra. I guess this one's even more like Wonder Woman. And then keeping lifted, bend the elbows, place hands nice and wide, and use the hands to help snake the spine from side to side. Try to be really relaxed so that as you push into the hands, the body can really respond, almost like a ripple, just naturally reverberating out through a pond. And then come to center, slide the hands back, gently push into the hands. This time bring hips all the way to the heels, taking one moment to just melt in Bhaktasana. Keep the toes tucked under. Push down into the knees to round the spine. Allow the hands to drag towards you so as the spine curls up, you're in a nice tabletop. And then take opposite arm and leg away from one another. Once you've got that pathway, you can start to play with stepping opposite hand and foot to the left and then back to the right. I find that I can't think about it. If I think about it, I'll mess up, but if I just do it, it works. So I hope that helps. And then the next time you are back on your mat, pause there for a moment. Walk the hands forward. Nice soft palms, soft elbows. Push into the hands. Let the hips lift. Take a moment in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Just gently swaying the hips or holding steady if your constitution is asking for a little more stillness. Observe the breath. Imagine the tension just melting out of your body as you find more and more glide and sway. And then gently bend the knees and feel the support in the legs as you lower the knees all the way down with control. Slide the hands back so they're right underneath the shoulders. And then just take some of those explorations, pawing out the hands, walking them around, noticing where you feel the most support in the chest, the most freedom in the neck. You can even test it by looking from side to side when you find a hand placement that's interesting to you. And then walk the hands into the knees. Push down into knees, slowly rolling up one vertebra at a time. Arms to a T or a low V. Shift the weight into the right knee. Hover the left and stay here. If you feel really wobbly and this is challenging, that's great. It means all those muscles in the right hip are working. If this feels really easy, then start to challenge yourself by kicking the left leg out, moving it in different directions. Nice. Smiling helps. And then step the left foot forward and slightly to the left, so the pelvis has a lot of space. Ungrip the toes and take a couple of bends in the knee. As the knee bends, feel how the pelvis shifts forward, and then send the pelvis back by kicking into the foot. And then we'll add the arms in, so the next time the knee bends, reach the arms back, taking flight, and then kick into the foot, coming back up. And you can allow the arms to swing forward, riding that momentum a little bit. Allow the body to have as much ease as possible and even support. The next time you bend into the knee, release the hands down, release the hips, and just make some nice hula hoops. It's okay to separate the space between the foot and the knee. If you need a little bit more room to circle here, go the opposite direction. And then step the right hand nice and wide. Place the weight in the front foot and the hand, and then glide the right knee through that space, right hip down. Extend the leg, extend the left leg, equal balance in the sits bones, and pause in whatever position is comfortable. Bend the knees, allow the body to melt forward, and then kick into the heels, letting the whole body fill and expand until you can slowly lower onto the back with control. Back at the very beginning, balanced between both sides. We'll pause here for a moment to just absorb that sequence. The next round will flow through all those movements, and we'll add on our standing sequence. Of course, you can add or subtract anything that you want. Feel free to grab a sip of water before we begin our second round. And if you're following along with the music, you're welcome to go to the next track. Unless you like this very soothing, grounding music, you can just keep this track looping. The next one does take it up a little bit. We'll all meet on our back in that original position with the right side towards the screen. And take your foot circle. And on the second round, it is fine for movements to get bigger if that's natural and your body wants it. But even more important than that is allowing the movements to get smoother. So don't worry about going too deep, but just try to feel more and more support and ease. The next time the toes point away from you, push down into the heels, letting the front of the body subtly open. And then snow angel the arms overhead, full body stretch. Let the rib cage reach away from the pelvis. And then let everything flex in on itself, gently curling up. And take 3 leg glides, sliding hands up and down the shins, letting that pull your body up, and then release your body down. The next time everything pulls up, keep all that centered strength. Reach hands and feet apart. Left leg reaches over. Slow motion side body roll. We're going to move through this one slow every time because it's just so good for us. Tent the right hand even as you start to glide, so that when you're ready to push into the right hand and reach over to the left. And then send the body back and forth. And as this feels more natural and you build more momentum, it is okay to push so much that when you push into the right hand, the right hip stacks over the left. When you push into the left hand, the left hip stacks, but only if that feels natural and comfortable. Might feel more natural the next round, we'll see. And then center your weight, push into the hands, glide the hands back, allow that to peel you off the mat into flying cobra. You can gently sway from side to side, moving the support around on the back. You can imagine almost like banking with the wind as you gently lean. And then bend elbows, place the fingertips down, and just gently snake the spine with a little more support now as the hands are down. Glide the hands back a little bit more. Push down to send the hips back to the heels. Keep the toes tucked under. And then push down. Allow the hands to glide towards knees slightly, coming up to tabletop. You can take the same lizard prep pose or cheetah prep pose, or you can hover the knees and actually start to play with cheetah, where with knees hovered, opposite hand and foot lift in a nice buoyant connected fashion. And then you can walk your cheetah over to the right and over to the left. And of course, keep the knees down if you liked the way we did it on the first round more. And we'll meet on the mat. Nice! You've done this before, Deanna. And then step the hands forward. Let the body unfold into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Option to start to swivel the heels or just sway the hips. If you are swiveling the heels, notice how that starts to extend one side of the body. You might feel a stretch up through that side into the side body, all the way down to the pelvis. And then come back to center, slow motion, lower of the knees to really feel that pathway down. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders, and we're going to build on this motion a little bit. So start to flex the elbows, making springs with the arms, and take a few little bounces. And if that feels okay, that feels supported, start to play with that by bouncing over to the left, bouncing over to the right. Feel free to let the feet be free. So as you tilt forward, it's okay to let the feet lift almost like a counterweight. Nice. And then find your way back to center and use one last spring to come all the way up to kneeling. Yes, great job. Shift the weight into the left knee, arms to T or a low V, and start to play with your balancing, lifting the right leg. Same as before. Maybe it feels a little bit easier and you can explore some bigger movements. And then step the right foot forward and wide, bend into the right knee, and fly your arms back, and then kick into the right foot, pulsing back up. And take a couple of those springs, and we're actually going to use this to come up to standing in a moment. So just take a moment to visualize having weight on both feet. The next time you bend into the front knee, let the back knee lift because there's no weight in it. And then press evenly into the front foot so you're standing. Great. And then bend into the front knee again. Let the hands fly behind you, just like you did with the knee down. Shift the weight into the front foot. Taking a baby Virabhadrasana 3, just letting that right leg strengthen for a moment. And then kick out through the left foot, allowing the toes to turn out. Place the left foot down and pause for a moment in nice, short, supported Virabhadrasana 2. Allow the arms to float up. And then bend all of your limbs. So there's just a sense of everything sinking towards your center, a little bit more ease. Turn all 10 toes to the side mat and bend a little bit more into your left knee, crouching tiger. Let the left hand reach behind you. And if you want to, you can reach the right arm forward. It's kind of dramatic and fun. I like it. And then shift all 10 toes to the left. Bend the right knee a lot. Release the hands down and extend the left leg, melting over the left leg. And then bend the elbows a couple of times, bend the knees a couple of times so there's a sense of springiness and not forcing too deep of a hamstring stretch. Push into the right hand, shift the weight of the shoulder over the right wrist, and slowly start to lift the left foot, step it over the right leg behind you, and bring your bottom all the way down. Yeah, I'll do that again in case you're not sure what just happened. It's actually oh, nice, you got it. Okay, so now let the left knee fall open. Keep turning to the left. When we do this at speed, it'll be a lot easier. It's actually harder slow. And let the right leg really internally rotate. So the top of the foot comes towards the mat. Twist to the left. Let the back leg rotate inward. And now we're going to do it in the reverse, okay? So circle the arms over to the right. Hop the left leg over, back to where it came from. Nice, you got it. And then push down into the feet, slowly rising up into Virabhadrasana 2. Take a moment, just pausing in Virabhadrasana 2. And then turn all 10 toes to the right. And we're going to do this from the very beginning, starting with that Virabhadrasana 3. So shift the weight into the right foot, reach the arms overhead or to a T, and take a moment in Vira 3. If it feels good and stable, you can gently sway, or just find a drishti and breathe. Bend the right knee, kick into the left foot, sending the left foot back into your nice, soft Virabhadrasana 2. Imagine just gathering energy here, because you know the next part, you're not going to stop moving. Turn all 10 toes, crouching tiger over the left knee. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. And then keep turning to the left. Bend the right knee, melt over the left leg, and extend the left leg. Root the right hand, and when you're ready, shift the weight into the right hand, hop the left leg over, bringing the hips down. And then keep on turning so that that right leg can really internally rotate and release. Gaze over the left shoulder if it feels good. Nice. And we're going to do that. Actually, no, we're only going to do it that many times because that was a good number of times. So plant the right hand and we'll just take the hop, but don't worry, we're not going to do the whole thing over again. Oh, okay, and then hop back to where we were, because now I got it. So I wanted you guys to practice that transition one more time. Now you've got it sealed in the bag. Okay, bend the knees, stack the legs, and bring the hips towards the middle of the mat, and just gently start to extend the left arm overhead so you can melt onto that left side. Place the right hand in front of the heart, and gently push into the hand so that you can massage the left shoulder. Just gently rocking forward and back on the left side of the body, melting away any tension in the arm, in the shoulder, in the neck, in the hip, thigh. And then reach your right arm overhead. Let it rest on the left palm. And gently start to circle the right arm up and back, melting the back of the head towards the mat, making your way into our Shavasana. Back to the beginning. Extend the legs, extend the arms. Just pause. And again, try to let go of the mind, anything it's telling you about what just happened. Let your body absorb that pattern from a deeper level, this deeper wisdom we all have when our minds can get out of the way. We'll repeat that exact same sequence on the second side. We'll start with our foot circles, and remember, try to conserve energy every step along the way. Next time the toes point away from you, uproot the rib cage, circle arms gently overhead, reach hands and feet apart. And then full body flexion. Everything curls in on itself. Reverse melting up. And then release the head down. Hands to shins. Glide the hands up, letting it lift your torso any amount. And just take 2 more of those. Letting your body sandwich together. And then stretch everything apart. Slow motion. Roll over the left side. Tent the fingertips and start to push into the left hand. Option to allow the left leg to stretch behind you and then push into the right hand. Same thing goes for the right leg. Just make sure the leg feels anchored into the core and it's not destabilizing for the low back. If you're not sure, stick to keeping the legs together for now. And then come back to center. Glide the arms back. Flying cobra, and try to release a little bit of effort here. So if I told you to hold this for 5 minutes, you'd be like, yeah, no problem. I can totally do that. I'm not going to make you do that, but just imagine that amount of ease, that you can feel really comfortable here, evenly supported. And then tent the fingertips and snake the spine with even more ease. And as you start to get used to this motion, you can allow the shoulders to come into it, letting one drop at a time. And then center your weight, slide the hands back, push everything back to Virabhadrasana. Melt the forehead again. Let any tension in the body just dissolve. Like each round allows us to become more and more in tune with our energy body. And then slowly glide up to table. Option to hover the knees, and we'll take our leopard walks first in place and then side to side. And we'll meet on the mat. Step the hands forward and lift the hips. Either sway them gently from side to side or start to pivot the feet, making it a little bit more dramatic through the side body. And center the weight. Slowly lower the knees down, feeling all the muscles in the legs and hips evenly supporting you. Glide the hands underneath the shoulders and take your bounces. And try to catch a little bit of hang time. Like as you come up, notice if you can stay there for a moment before you effortlessly glide back down. Nice. Yeah, just for this class, gravity's not working so hard on us. So just imagine that. And then bring the hands to center. Use your last bounce to bring you all the way up to kneeling. Shift the weight into the right knee, arms wide. And start to play with your kneeling balance. Let it get bigger if it feels easy. Let it stay small if it feels hard. And then step the foot forward and wide. Bend the left knee, reach the hands back. Take a couple of those bounces, letting the arms swing as effortlessly as possible. And the next time you bend forward and bend the knee, lift the back knee. And then push into the left foot so there's equal weight in both feet. And now we repeat the same thing from standing. So bend the left knee and reach the arms behind you, peeking over the foot. Come back up. And then the next time, if you feel ready, you can take flight or you can take a couple more bounces to get there. If the left leg doesn't want to hold Vira 3, keep taking those bounces. They're pretty fun. Otherwise, you can hold it and just breathe for a moment. And as we're ready, we'll kick the right foot straight back, letting the toes turn out to the side. Place the foot down. Nice, short, easeful Virabhadrasana 2. Let everything soften and melt. And then all 10 toes towards me. Bend the right knee. Right hand reaches behind you. Left arm reaches forward, crouching tiger. And then keep turning to the right. Turn all 10 toes to the right. Bend the left knee deeply. Reach the fingertips down and extend the right leg. We'll call this flamingo. Plant the left hand, and when you're ready, shift weight into left hand. Lift the right foot, hop it over the right leg, and bring the hips down, and then just keep on turning to the right. Plant the hands to the right of the leg and roll on that left foot so the thigh can internally rotate a little bit. So I'll show you that just in case you're not. Usually we're here like Parvattajana Shirshasana. We're letting that leg really roll as we turn, almost like pigeon. And then we'll repeat that one more time. So arms up, rainbow the arms over to the left, plant the left hand, and hop the right leg to meet the hands. Left heel down, Virabhadrasana 2. And then turn all 10 toes back to the beginning. Shift the weight over the left foot. You can take a couple of bounces, and when you're ready, take flight in Virabhadrasana 3. Arms, any variation that serves you. Stay here as long as you want, or take another bounce if that feels more supportive. And then extend right leg, plant the right foot, Virabhadrasana 2. Those were really nice Vira 3s, and I think you guys weren't even trying. You were just there. That was awesome. Bend the right knee, reach the left hand forward, right hand back. And then keep turning the toes. Bend the left knee, melt over the right leg. Let the right leg extend any amount for flamingo. And then plant the left hand, hop the right leg over, and try to slow your descent. So there's a lot of control in that right leg. And then, nice. Keep turning to the right. Plant both hands and roll over the left leg, coming onto the top of the left foot, as long as that's okay. And because I made you do it one more time on the other side and I want to keep you balanced, we'll do that, the hop over just one more time. So plant the left hand, hop the right leg over, and then this is where I realized I made a mistake. And so then we reverse that and we hop the right leg back so that we can all be pros at that awesome transition. Yeah, Davey, you got it. That was, yeah, see, we needed it. Thank you. That was for you. Stack the legs. Gently allow the thighs to squeeze, and then extend the right leg overhead. You can center the hips on your mat so you've got room, and slowly let the right arm slide down. Rest the forehead, left hand in front of you, and just take those gentle side body rocks. And allow this movement to melt away any tension from the side of the hip, the thigh, the shoulder. Can roll towards the back a little bit more if there's something there that needs love. And then left hand meets the right, and just gently circle the left hand overhead, over to the left, slowly rolling onto the back, extending the legs. And let's pause and rest and just let everything go. So way to go, friends. That was the end of round 2. We have one last round and then a really nice cool down and meditation and shavasana. So for this last round, there will be options for a couple of peak poses if the body wants them. There's also always the option to skip anything. We'll be going through that whole sequence again, and I know it's a lot, so feel free to modify. Hold something. If you find yourself in a position and it feels amazing, hold it, breathe, explore that stability. So this round is sort of like yogi's choice. Let your body guide you, and of course I'll guide you too. And Padmapani, this next song's for you. So you can hit next, or if you're loving the song we're listening to, you can keep listening to this song. And of course, feel free to have a sip of water. All right. So this is the round where our bodies just turn into pure energy. So have fun with that. We'll start with our foot circle. And then snow angel the arms overhead. Gentle flexion, curling up. Release the body, glide the hands up just one time. Let the body squeeze together and then reach everything apart. Slow motion glide over the right side of the body. Enjoy it. As you're on that right side, start tenting the fingertips so that you can go right into those side body swivels. And then come to center. Reach the hands behind you. Stay here. Or play with bending the knees and notice if that tensioning of the back line of the body helps you reach up a little higher. Option to grab the ankles if they're right there and you want that. You can kick gently into the feet for Dhanurasana. Observe a breath flow. And then release the legs, tent the fingertips, and take your nice easy snakes from side to side. And just make sure you're not irritating your shoulders here. Sometimes it can be too much. Find your balance and then slide the hands back. Shift hips to heels. Keep the toes tucked. I'm turning down my volume. This track's a little louder than the last one, so if you need to do that, you can do that too. And then push down into the shins, glide the hands towards knees slightly. Go right into leopards or your modification. Leopards, cheetahs, I guess they walk pretty similarly. And then walk onto your mat. And just notice if that has gotten a little bit easier. Walk the hands forward, extend into Adho Mukha Svanasana. If you're enjoying those swivels from side to side, the next time the heels swivel to the right, you can push down into the right hand and like stringing a bow, glide the left hand up the front of the body and take just one moment in Vasistasana, side plank. And if you enjoyed that, you can go the other way. And take your time. We'll all meet back at center and we'll take a couple of our springs. And as we spring this time, if you want to, you can scorpion your right leg. It's sort of a fun like counterweight. So as you bounce, the back leg extends. But just be careful with this because sometimes it puts too much pressure on the left hip. So just make sure your left hip is happy if you're playing with this. And if you find yourself in a cool position, you can hold it for a moment. And then the next time you press into the hand, see if you can spring all the way up into your balances. That's really hard, so don't feel bad if you can't do that. And then we'll take a moment to balance here. And if you really liked those scorpion bounces, you can go back into the scorpion bounce and then to the balance. And we'll all meet eventually with the right foot forward and wide. So if you've had enough, feel free to go there first. Pause there. I'll keep paying attention to you guys. Nice. And we'll just take one of those springs, bending the knee, reaching the hands forward. Come back up. Let the arms swing. And then on the next time, lift the back knee. And come back up with both legs lifted this time. And then bend into the knee into Virabhadrasana 3. If it feels really easy, you can just stay here. You can take a couple more of those springs, or you can just gently sway from side to side, allowing the weight to gently shift in the hips. Try another arm variation. And then kick the left foot back, let the toes open. Gently set the foot down in Virabhadrasana 2 and just pause and find a little more ease. Let everything curl in on itself like our flexion crunch. And then turn the toes to the side of the mat. Reach the right arm forward. Crouching tiger, bend the left knee. And then keep turning to the left. Bend the right knee a lot and extend the left leg as you melt forward. If you want to add something in here, this is a great place to add a standing split. Or Mandira, of course. You can do a handstand if you want to. Otherwise, you can plant the right hand, hop the leg over, and just go right into that nice roll. And so now that you know the pattern of it, you're welcome to do that whole sequence one more time. Oh, Kelsey, I am so sorry. I think I told you the wrong time. But you're welcome to join us. We're about to cool down and meditate. I am so sorry. Hi, Kelsey. And so go for it if you're doing one more sequence. If you want something a little more restorative, you can bend the right knee and just gently melt over to the left onto the forearms, letting that whole left side of the body open up. And I'll talk you through one more round if you can't remember all of the steps. Give me a little wave if you want to do one more of the full deal. All right, Deanna's in. Okay, so extend the right leg, plant the right hand over to the side, hop the left leg over the right, reach right heel down, float up for one moment in Virabhadrasana 2. And then we'll turn to the right, getting ready for Virabhadrasana 3. Bend into the right knee, spring over the right leg. This is our last Vira 3 on the right leg, so do whatever you want here. This is actually a fun place to add in a little handstand too. And then when you're ready, extend the left leg back. Pause in your soft, easy Vira 2, letting it all soak in. And then turn the toes to the left, bend the right knee, and see if you can crouch a little bit lower this time, as long as it's safe on that knee, but just notice if the legs are warm for that. And then keep turning to the left, bend the right knee, extend the left leg, add anything you want in here. And then as you're ready, plant the right hand, hop left foot over right, and just take that nice, easy roll to the left, rolling over the top of the right foot. Nice. And for comfort's sake, let's all scooch our hips towards the center of the mat, stagger the legs, and before we recline on that left side, let's just take one moment to open the left side body in this nice twist. You can tent the right fingertips so it's not as deep of a twist, and then just gently bend the right elbow and extend the right arm to rotate through the lateral side of the body. And then melt the left arm all the way down, stack the legs, pause on your side. And then draw a big circle with the right arm, letting the whole body melt onto the back. Extend the legs, pause. Okay, no surprises now. Now you know everything. You know all the secrets. So let the mind rest easy for a moment. And we'll go through the last side. Draw a big circle with the feet. And of course, you can start cooling down here if your body has had enough. It's okay that everything's not perfectly symmetrical, but I'll talk you through one more round. Point the feet away from you, big circle with the arms, stretching hands and feet apart. And then easy flexion through the whole body, curl up. Rest the body down, glide the hands up the legs, letting the hips lift any amount. And then extend everything out. Right leg up and over. Slow motion, melt over the left arm. Tent the fingertips and wave from side to side, option to let the leg get into it. And then come back to center. Reach the hands back, peel the spine up. Option to bend the knees. Then just hover there with the back of the body tensioned, or grab onto the ankles and gently kick into them, extending into Dhanurasana. Check in with the low back. If it doesn't feel good, release the legs back down. Tent the hands and just take an easy snake. from side to side. And then glide the hands back, push into the hands, take a moment to melt in Bhaktasana, letting that final thought release from the mind. Glide up into table and lift the knees for our last round of our cheetah walks. You can walk right onto the mat or a little bit beyond. And then step the hands forward. Extend into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Any variation that we've done, so those little swivels, we're taking it all the way to Vasistasana. And in this last round, if you want to play with lifting the top leg, you're welcome to, or you can keep both feet down. Nice, and we'll make our way back to center, drop the knees, and you know where we're going. We're going to meet here, so if you don't want any more on the wrists, you can play just in that lunge. Otherwise, you can start with your springs, and you have the option to let the left leg scorpion this time. And remember to check in with the right hip and make sure that's not too intense. And we can also take the scorpion right into the right knee balance. And nice, Deanna. I like that. As you're ready, come up to the kneeling. If you need a moment to balance on your knee, you can, and then set the left foot forward and to the left. And just take one of those springs, bending the knee, reaching the hands back, pushing into the foot, swinging the arms forward. The next time you do that, let the back knee lift, and then push into the left foot as the arms swing forward, and then bend the left knee and take flight. Take a couple of bounces like that, or play in your Virabhadrasana 3. As you're ready, kick the right leg back, let the right toes open. Virabhadrasana 2. Take a breath, let everything soften. And then turn the toes to the right, reach the right arm back. Crouching tiger, let the hips reach back, bring a little more weight into your heels. And then keep turning to the right, extend the right leg, bend the left knee. Add anything in if you want, like a standing split. Or root the left hand, hop the right leg over, and keep turning to the right for our modified pigeon or modified deer pose. Remember, you can stay here and take like a restorative version of this pose, letting the right hip and the right side of the body open. And I'll talk us through one more round. If you want to do one more round, extend the left leg, point the right knee up, plant the left hand to the left, hop right foot over, spin the left heel down, and slowly lift to your Vira 2. Turn the toes all the way to the left, back to Vira 3, and take your variation, right? You've done it so many times that you know what your body wants. Nice. Yeah, those springs are great. Cool, Satyam. And then kick the right leg back, Vira 2, and bend everything, like drawing all of your energy in towards the center, preparing. Turn the toes to the right, reach the right arm back, crouching tiger, and then keep turning, extend the right leg, and just try to melt over the right leg, bend the left knee. Can take a couple bounces there. Add anything in. And then plant the left hand, hop right leg over, and slow motion twist to the right, rolling on the right leg. And then slowly glide your hips onto the mat. Bend the left knee and lower onto the right forearm, tent the left hands, And just come as low as is comfortable. You can gaze down or gaze over the right shoulder. Gently press the legs into one another just to create a little extra space in the hip sockets, and push into the left fingertips to rock forward and back. And then stack the knees, extend the arm and rest completely on the right side. So now the sequence is complete, and we'll take this into our cool down. Because it's such an intense song to cool down to, you can go to the next track or just pause it completely. And we'll all meet on the side, and we'll play with these gentle melting twists that we tasted a little bit of. So the left hand will glide overhead, gently allowing the shoulder blades to pull towards the mat, and let the left hip and knee lift so there's not tension in the low back or hips as you do this. And then keep circling the arm, and just do this a couple of times. Big circles with the left arm, allowing the shoulders to melt open. Kelsey, I'm so sorry about the time mistake. I know that other class starts around now, so you can totally swap over and we'll try again next week. Yeah, totally. See you soon. And the next time the shoulders open, let the knees gently lift. Take a moment at center. And then drop the knees the other way and do it on the second side. So let the knees and hips stack. And now draw big circles with the right arm, allowing the shoulder blades to pull and letting the right knee lift. We don't want too deep of a twist here. Ease and softness are our goal. And the next time the arm circles open, lift the knees and just pause. Wiggle around a little bit on the shoulders. Make sure the neck feels really free and comfortable. And then just gently start to lift your eyes like you're trying to see something on the wall behind you, and let the back of the head glide on the floor as you look overhead. And then go back the way you came, tucking the chin, letting the back of the head slide so the back of the neck lengthens, and just gently press down as you do that to encourage some opening in the back of the neck. And then release completely. So you're just at neutral, no effort, no force. And we'll repeat that again. So gaze overhead, gliding the back of the skull along the mat, any amount that's comfortable. And then go the opposite direction, lengthening and pushing down at the same time. So there's a little bit more release. And then just soften, letting that information soak in. Once you've got the hang of it, you can play with that movement at your own pace. Maybe just one or two more times. And then from neutral, tuck the chin, press the back of the head down, just like you did for half of that last movement. And then slowly start to gaze to the right, letting the skull drag across your yoga mat. So the neck stays really still, and it's just the head that's moving. Eventually moving the right ear towards the mat, but it might not get there, and that's okay. And then go back the way you came. And do just a couple times on that same side before we go to the other side. Now go to the left. And don't force anything. You want this to feel really fluid, almost like all these muscles are just melting and directing you into this without you having to grip. And then lift the gaze to center and just pause. If the body wants it, this is a great opportunity to take a nice easy bridge pose. I'll talk you into it, but another option is to just hug the knees into the chest and gently rock. For bridge pose, keep the soles of the feet down, reach the hands towards the heels, and just gently push down into the feet and the shoulders to allow the hips to lift. Glide the shoulders away from you, continuing to lengthen through the back of the neck, just like we exercised some of those neck movements. And then just gently sway the hips so there's no tension in the back. Place one vertebra back down at a time when you're ready. Really try to feel that control and awareness of each vertebra and the muscles around them. And then just pause for a moment. We will make our way up to seated for meditation before Shavasana. And take your time. But a couple of options of how to get there are to rock and roll forward or to roll onto your side and gently push up. And try to treat this transition just like you treated the rest of the yoga class, moving consciously, exploratory, enjoying the pathway, right? Because this is how we have the potential to move through our days like this much consciousness and awareness and support. If you've got a cushion or a blanket or something you like to sit on, you're welcome to grab it. And I recommend pausing the music at this point so that you can really let go of everything. And once you've found a comfortable position, and close the eyes or find a single place to gaze upon. And just like we began on our back, observing the breath, start to just feel your body in space. And notice if that task is a little easier after exploring the sensation of your body for an hour and 15 minutes. And then from that awareness, that space of the observer, start to notice the breath. And allow the breath to gently slow down, just by finding greater ease, more relaxation. And bring some extra awareness to your exhale and the space after the exhale. And just notice any sense of releasing, emptying out, ungripping. That occurs as you release the breath. And throughout our class today, I talked a little bit about dissolving tension in the physical body, the mind, even energetically. And we have a practice that can help us flush out all of the residue that's left behind when we burn up our tension. This practice was given to us by Swami Rudrananda, and it's called the tension release. And if you already know it, you can just go right into it, but I will cue you through it. Relax the fingertips down to either side of the hips, and we'll just start with the pattern of the breath. So naturally draw the breath in through the nostrils, letting the breath wash over the forehead, clearing any congestion in the mind. And then the breath arcs down towards the heart, pooling in the spacious heart center. And the exhalation allows the breath to wash out of the arms, down the central channel, out of the palms and fingertips. Just take a couple of breaths to follow that pathway. And we'll add in the visualization of the tension release practice. And so the next inhale, imagine you're drinking in the cleanest, purest water, drawing it into the heart where it mixes with this residual tension that we all have. And this clear water gets murky and smoky and dark. And as you exhale, you can let that sludgy mixture pour out of the body through the palms and fingertips. And on your own pace, you can continue to breathe in this cleansing energy, this water. Hold it at the heart for as long as it's comfortable, 5 to 10 seconds, letting it mix with this tension. And then exhale the murky mixture, letting it pour out of the body. You can visualize it, you can try to feel it. The final part of the practice is the wish. And so the next time you inhale to the heart, repeat to yourself and really try to feel, I deeply wish to release all negative tension. And then as you exhale, let it go even deeper than before. You can take a few more on your own, repeating or really feeling the wish to release all negative tension. You can do this as many times as you want. And when you feel cleansed, the final aspect is just flicking out the fingers, shaking out the hands, just letting any last bits of that tension to fling away from you. And you're welcome to stay upright for as long as you want. We've got about 10 minutes left if you'd like to keep meditating. You can also recline into Shavasana and let everything in the body relax completely and just soften and restore. Of course, if there's any last movements the body is craving, please be my guest. welcome to continue resting if your life allows for that and your body wants it. If you are making your way back up to seated, again, try to feel each step as the body wakes up and you introduce movements and breath and rolling, and try to enjoy the process of feeling and waking up and sitting up. Imagine this bridge between your yoga practice and the rest of your day, and being able to move consciously and love the sensations in your body. You can bring hands to heart center and just gently lengthen through the back of the neck. And as you breathe naturally, just notice the gentle rising and falling as the heart lifts up towards the hands. Just find a little gratitude in your heart for your practice and your inner wisdom that guides you to support yourself from the inside. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Namaste. So great to be here with each of you. Thank you so much for coming. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, hope to see you soon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Maya. Nice to practice with you all.
My pleasure. Aloha, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, love. Felt awesome.
Oh, yay. Happy New Year. Love your Christmas tree.